It looks like the EIDL, which stands for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, has reopened up as a result of the latest stimulus package that has been passed. And with that being the case, a whopping $20 billion has been budgeted and allocated to the SBA to help distribute these funds. But do you qualify for this loan? And more importantly, do you qualify for the EIDL grant, which was alive a little while back, but they closed it down, but it's been reopened because of this stimulus package? Well, let's get into it right now. Hello everyone, I'm Elijah, your host, and let me welcome you to another video produced by Financial Anatomy, the place where you can take control of your financial destiny. In this video, we're going to be talking about how some of you may actually qualify for the EIDL grant. Now, I put emphasis on the word grant. There's the EIDL loan and the EIDL grant. We're going to focus on the grant for this video. But for those of y'all that don't know what I'm talking about, if you apply for the EIDL loan, you may get approved, you may not get approved. As far as how much, it really depends. But regardless of if you get approved for the loan or not, you will get an EIDL grant of between $1,000 and $10,000. How much that grant will be will depend on two factors, which we're about to get into. So some of y'all may be wondering, do you need a traditional business in order to get this money? And the answer is technically you don't. You just have to have a side hustle or a way of making money that is contracting or freelance in nature. So that means that you don't necessarily have to have an LLC. A hairstylist will qualify for this, or an engineer or a plumber. In fact, a lot of people who listen to this channel are also subscribed to my other channel, The App Lifestyle, and a lot of people are coming from the rideshare or delivery background, and they could qualify for this. Another important thing to know is, according to the bill that was passed, this is going to be on a first come, first served basis. So when the money runs out, the money runs out, pretty much like the first time. So you want to act as soon as possible. So the next question is, well, Elijah, how do you act? How do I get that grant money? Let's get into it now. So it comes in the form of two methods. And the first method is obviously going to yield more money, but you may not necessarily qualify for the first method. The second method is one where pretty much everyone is going to qualify for it, as long as you didn't do one particular thing, which we'll get into. So the first method of getting the EIDL grant is if you apply using this new process, which they're in the process of setting up, and it's called the hardest hit business. That's pretty much saying that this money is really directed towards businesses who really need it the most, who are really hurting. This is a direct response to the first time they rolled out the EIDL. The application process was way too general. You had people scamming the system, people saying that they have several employees under them, and they're just making businesses just get free money. This is kind of meant to put a stop to that, which is for the better. In my opinion, I think it probably should have been set up like this to start with. Using this method will actually get you the full $10,000. So it won't be between $1,000 or $10,000 if you qualify using this first method. You will actually get $10,000, the 5-digit number that you see on the screen right now. So in order to qualify for this first method, you have to be in a low income area. And there's a little gray in terms of what's considered a low income area, but according to the bill, that means that your income is below 20% of the median in your area or state. To put that into a more grounded example, we're just going to use some whole numbers. But let's say your average income in the state of whatever is $100,000. And then you do some research on your particular area, and the average income in that city is $70,000. Then you'll meet the qualifications of living in a low income area. It's recommended that you do a little research on those statistics on your city and your state to see if you fall within those qualifications. The second requirement is that you have under 300 employees, which if you're a freelancer or independent contractor, that's probably going to be pretty easy to meet. And the final and most critical component is between the dates of March 1st and December 31st, you've had 8 weeks where your income has taken a 30% reduction. So rather than work with fake numbers in this scenario, we're actually just going to take a look at my numbers from one of my clients and see if I would qualify for this loan based on this criteria. So let's move over to the computer. All right, so because of NDA reasons, I can't disclose who the client is, but this scenario fits perfectly for what we're talking about, which is qualifying for the EIDL loan. So if y'all read the email, you're gonna so if we read the email, we're gonna take a look at what's going on. So invoice looks good. Are you okay if we cap your weekly hours at 10 hours a week in terms of pay? Yeah, as I mentioned before, we need to cut expenses because of this whole COVID stuff. So we want to really prioritize money-making activities directly. And then I sent them an email saying, yeah, that's fine, I understand. But this is something that directly affected my income because of COVID. And keep in mind that we're just talking about this source of income. This isn't talking about money I made on designing websites or video editing like I spoke about on the channel before. It doesn't even have anything to do with financial anatomy per se, including the book. This is strictly on this source of income, okay? Real quick, guys, I want to say that I appreciate y'all taking the time to watch this video. And if you're liking it so far, give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot. And consider subscribing if you're new, where we talk about side hustles, personal finance, and stimulus information when the news actually comes out and is valid towards you. Meaning when the cash is going to be heading towards your doorstep rather than just talking about the news. With that being said, let's hop back into the video. So with that being the case, we are going to go to my PayPal, which is the means which is the way this client pays me. And we're going to look at the numbers. Now, we're going to go, he sent that email in May. So we're going to go to July and August. Now, as you see, y'all can see the numbers, and you'll notice that they're considerably lower for August and July because that's when all this was taking place, when the hours got reduced. Now, in September, well, late August technically, I renegotiated with the client so that we could work something out so that my income could get closer to what it was from this client, because I had to make sure doing the work I'm doing, I'm rightly compensated for it. So a renegotiation took place, and that's also something to consider for you freelancers. Maybe I'll make a video on negotiation, but stand on point. So we're going to look at all the numbers. You see that the numbers are considerably lower within those months. So would I qualify based on the, hey, 8 weeks there was a 30% reduction in your income? Well, let's find out. That's 2 months, because 8 weeks is basically 2 months. So it fits the criteria of 8 weeks. But was my income from this source 30% lower? Well, let's do the math. So I've actually taken the liberty of adding all this information up, so you don't get bored out of your mind watching me add it up. And that number is $21,580. That's all that added up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this by 11, because I didn't receive a payment for January, because that's when we started. The way it works is I do the work in this month and I'm paid for next month. That's the cycle. And we have 11 months of payment. Now, obviously, we're not going to count anything next year. So we're going to divide it by 11, and that gives us a little over, it gives us $1,961 and all the stuff afterwards in terms of like an average income per month, because you see the income fluctuated throughout the year. So what we're now going to do is we're going to take this number and multiply it times 0.30, which is 30%, and that gives us $588. And we're gonna round down in this case. So with that being the case, we're gonna now subtract that from the 1,961. So 1961 minus 588, and that gives us a final number. So now we can go back to the months of August and July and see if that number is lower than the number we have here once we've already done the math. And let's see what we have. So this number is saying 1,373, and how much I've gotten paid in these months is under 1,300. So that actually qualifies as a over 30% reduction in income based on the math that we've just done on the annual income from this money source. So with that being done, does that mean that I qualify for the EIDL loan, or a grant in this case, the $10,000? Well, the answer would still be no for me personally, because unfortunately I don't live in a low income area based on the criteria that they've set. but I've given you the formula to figure out if you would qualify. So just do the same thing, and if you qualify, when the process comes out as far as how to apply, you need to jump on it. They're making adjustments to their website right now, so I would check daily, and once they make the adjustments as far as how to apply, then go ahead and do it. Now, for those of y'all that have already applied and gotten the EIDL grant, the way this works is, let's say you got $1,000 the first time. Well, the Small Business Administration isn't going to give you another $10,000. What they're going to do is they're going to give you the money difference between what they gave you and the $10,000. So you would subtract $1,000 from that $10,000. They will owe you $9,000, and that's what they're going to give you. But according to the bill, you need to start this process based on whatever instructions that they give you on their website. Now, there's a chance they may just reach out to you and do it, say, hey, we owe you money, but the chance of that happening is slim, and I wouldn't depend on that. I would just go ahead and start the process. That's the first method. The second method is more general, and there's a caveat to it. So the second method is pretty much the standard method that everyone has been using, where you go to the SBA.gov website, which I'll link in the description below, and then you just fill out their form, which takes about like 10 minutes. As you can see on the screen, I got the EIDL the first time around, and it took me about 10 minutes to fill out. And honestly, it was probably 5 minutes of me just double checking stuff. So doing the analysis paralysis thing, so it could really just take you 5 minutes. But the caveat is, if you've already gotten the $1,000 grant, or if you've already gotten it in the past, you're not probably going to get another one based on what the text in the bill says. Maybe they'll change that. I highly doubt it. So if you've already gotten the EIDL grant like I have, then you're not going to get another one. But if you have not and you don't qualify for the first method, this would be the next best thing. You get $1,000 per employee. So for you, a Uber, Lyft, DoorDash driver, stuff like that, you count as one employee towards your business. So you would put one, and then you would get $1,000 later. For me, I got it later that week, like 2 days later, if memory serves me correctly. It did not take long at all. You just need to have a valid bank account that they can deposit the money into, and then give them the information to do so. Unfortunately, if you don't qualify for the first method and you've already gotten money from the EIDL before, then this information won't do too much good, because as it stands, they're not going to allow you to double dip. They'll look at it as you already got your money, so kind of be happy. If something new comes out, I'll let y'all know, as well as I'll let y'all know when the website is actually updated, so you can go ahead and start the process of the first method if you want to try that, because a lot of y'all may actually qualify based on the information that we've covered in this video. But that does it for this video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below, as well as if y'all have any experiences with the EIDL the first time. Like I said, I got it pretty easily, pretty fast. It didn't take a while, so that's very refreshing. And this first method, it really is getting straight to the people who will probably need it the most. I do appreciate that. The only thing is the low income area. I think that's a little like, but what you gonna do? It's free money at the end of the day. It's gonna have strings attached. I will catch you in the next video. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Really helps me out a lot. Consider subscribing if you're new, where we talk about side hustles, personal finance, making money online, and occasionally when the news comes out and it's valid, we will talk about stimulus information. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Don't forget to get out there and take control of your financial destiny.